and no, it felt like the world opened open.
It did.
Yeah.
Now, I know you all were very close to Miss Aretha Franklin.
Oh, yes.
Yes. And
in the buzzing world of showbiz, even the brightest stars can suddenly plummet from the sky. Today, we're dishing the gripping saga of a sensation whose journey flipped from hit records to hitting rock bottom. Can you believe it? Ron Isley, the Motown legend, trading in his glittering stage for the cruel city streets.
please welcome Rock and Roll Hall of Famers, the Isley Brothers, baby.
How on earth did the superstar, the face and voice of the Isley Brothers, end up losing everything? Well, we've got the inside scoop on all the highs, the lows, and those moments that will leave you utterly gobsmacked. Get ready to journey from the dazzling Motown limelight to the cold, harsh cells of prison with us. We promise, by the end, you'll see Ron Isley in a light you never imagined. Remember that soulful voice that once serenaded from our radios? The envy of many, Ron Isley bathed in the luxuries that only stardom could bestow. Yet, as destiny played its cards, the same voice that won millions of hearts faced a tempest, threatening to mute his iconic legacy forever. Delving deeper into the narrative, we discover that Ron Isley's jaw, dropping descent from opulence, wasn't just an accident. With assets that once screamed luxury, his dwindling finances became the talk of the town. So what went wrong? The answer: unchecked, splurging, and haphazard financial decisions. Living the life of a king, hosting grandeur, filled soirees, flaunting high-end fashion, it all had a hefty price. However, the tipping point, a growing mountain of unpaid taxes. When the IRS took note, they weren't in a forgiving mood. Fame didn't offer Ron a pass. The charge: tax evasion. And yes, it came with the kind of repercussions that landed him in jail. As the courtroom echoed the ramifications of his fiscal follies, the reality of his downfall became inescapably vivid. A singer who once dominated charts now grappled with a life behind bars. For many, it felt like Motown's golden era was receding into oblivion, making room for a grim chapter in Ron's story. But pivoting to brighter times, let's flash back to when the musical world was under the enchantment of the Isley Brothers. Motown Records was the heartbeat of melodious artistry, and right at its forefront were the Isley Brothers with their inimitable tunes.
New feelings.
That's from God. You know, it's just we've been blessed.
This tale, surprisingly, didn't start with their meteoric rise to fame. Instead, it began modestly in Cincinnati, Ohio, during the 50s with Ronald, Rudolph, and O'Kelly Isley Jr. What followed was an ascent into Motown's pulsating core. The name Motown became emblematic of youthful America's sonic landscape. As for the Isley Brothers, their destiny was interwoven with this legendary label. Their trajectory altered with the iconic shout in 1959.
Well, we were singing in the song Jackie Wilson had out, Lonely Teardrops.
I love me some Jackie Wilson. Oh my God.
The track, with its magnetic charm, skyrocketed them to unparalleled stardom. Hits like Twist and Shout and This Old Heart of Mine became age, defining melodies all marked by the unique Isley blend of gospel, R&B, and rock. Their partnership with Motown's revered Holland Dozier, Holland Trio gave birth to timeless tracks such as This Old Heart of Mine, Is Weak for You, and I Guess I'll Always Love You. Transitioning from the 60s to the 70s, the Isley weren't ones to remain static. Embracing a fusion of funk and psychedelia, albums like 3-3 emerged, underlining their adaptability and visionary approach, ensuring their sound never went out of style. Indeed, the Isley Brothers' impact on the global music scene was undeniable. As they etched their legacy into the annals of rhythm, their infectious tunes became synonymous with the soulful rhythms of the genre. We've seen many acts come and go, but few had the distinction of being both trendsetters and torchbearers like the Isleys. Their mastery, weaving intricate harmonies and potent lyrical content, which rendered them as musical maestros in their own right. Ron Isley, with his velvet-tinged voice, was always front and center. The kind of vocalist who could oscillate between the raw energy of power ballads and the delicate nuances of softer tracks. He had the gift of commanding an audience, ensuring every word sung was felt deep within the listener's soul. 3-3, their 1973 magnum opus, stands out even today. By embracing younger Isleys like Ernie into the mix, the band's sound transformed. This album wasn't just a collection of songs, it was an evolution. Tracks like That Lady and Summer Breeze weren't just hits. They were anthems that showcased a melting pot of rock, funk, and traditional R&B.
And the decades, like, you know, from early childhood to now, you think about how long your music, you've gone through generations.
And the ripple effect of their music, astounding. From legendary rockers to the newest for QB sensations, many credit the Isley Brothers as their musical North Star. Their influence was, and remains, omnipresent in the industry. But it wasn't just about studio records. Anyone who's been to an Isley Brothers concert would tell you it's electrifying. Ron, with his charisma and signature vocals, had this knack for transforming any venue into a cathedral of sound. The connection they built with their audience wasn't fleeting. It was profound. Yet, success isn't without its pitfalls. As we've observed time and again in the music industry, a name, a brand, can become a bone of contention. The Isley brothers, with their towering legacy, weren't immune. In a twist that took many by surprise, they found themselves entangled in a legal quagmire, wrestling over the rights to their illustrious name. It was a face-off that sent ripples across the industry, spotlighting the age, old debate on artistic rights and brand ownership. But let's circle back to Ron. His journey had been a roller coaster, to say the least, from basking in the glory of musical achievements to grappling with financial despair and confinement. Yet, a common thread persisted: Ron's indomitable spirit. Even incarceration became a period of reflection and growth. Inside those cold walls, the artist within him continued to breathe, crafting songs mirroring his life's altered lens. Further deepening Ron's story, the singer faced a hefty sentence of 3 years and 1 month for tax evasion. The additional penalty, a whopping $3.01 million in overdue taxes, as revealed by Assistant U.S. Attorney Robert Kant. Convicted on 5 counts of tax evasion and a singular count of willful failure in filing a tax return, the cards seemed stacked against him. In a gripping courtroom scene, defense attorney Anthony Alexander pushed for a softer sentence, highlighting Ron's health challenges. He cited a recent stroke and a battle with kidney cancer as reasons for leniency. Alexander also mentioned Ron's efforts to settle his IRS debt, including liquidating assets. But U.S. District Judge Dean Prigerson stood firm, dubbing Isley a serial tax avoider. Prosecutors painted a history of Isley's tax dodges spanning 3 decades. Post an IRS crackdown in 1997, which led to the seizure of his assets, including a yacht and cars, Isley declared bankruptcy. 4 years post his bankruptcy discharge, he neglected to file tax returns for 1997-2001. Even in 2002, his return was unsigned and due taxes remained unpaid. In Ron's defense, Alexander pointed to unfortunate circumstances, including the demise of 2 of Isley's accountants, which hindered him from settling his taxes during the controversial years. Emerging from the dark abyss of incarceration, Ron stepped out, resolute and driven. He wasn't about to let prison cells pen the closing chapter of his epic tale. The music world witnessed him clawing from the pits of despair back to those glaring stage lights, and it was a sight to behold. Each performance, echoing the intensity of his harrowing journey, struck a chord with the masses. His audience, once fans of his melodic euphoria, now witnessed a phoenix rising from its ashes through the medium of his rejuvenated tracks. We saw Ron, once surrounded by opulence and grandeur, grappling with the looming shadow of homelessness and insurmountable debt. Yet, amidst the financial ruins, his spirit remained unbroken. His tracks now sung tales of resilience, pushing souls to transcend their tribulations. A leap from the zenith of success to the gutters of destitution and back to glory. Ron's life played out like a poignant ballad, but it wasn't just a personal resurgence. It also highlighted the imperishable bonds binding the Isley brothers. Though legal skirmishes tried tearing them apart, their collective musical ardor remained unyielding, ensuring their sonic legacy thrived.
Playlist. Like when I want to hear music that transcends generations, you just put Isley Brothers in and go, and you're still making music now.
Fortune favored Ron's resurgence with an outpour of support flooding in from aficionados and contemporaries alike. The industry, touched by the profundity of his expedition, hailed his monumental comeback. His life, a vivid mosaic of unparalleled highs and heart-wrenching lows, stands as a beacon for souls ensnared in adversity. From being caught in the financial tempest and shackled behind bars to reclaiming his rightful spot in the limelight, Ron Isley embodies the spirit of resilience. But what does the public, the avid listeners who've swayed to the Isley Brothers tunes for decades, think of all this? It seems opinion is, as always, divided. I've grown up with the Isley Brothers music, commented one dedicated fan. The iconic Isley Brothers legacy is infinite. Music that spans over 60 years is immeasurable and timeless. Clearly, for many, the scandals and pitfalls of individual members don't overshadow the group's long-standing musical contributions. However, as we delved further into the community's reflections, it wasn't all unanimous adoration. I wouldn't buy his music or go to see any of his shows, quipped a disgruntled follower. Because the man doesn't care about his fans. He only thinks about himself. It seems the personal trials and tribulations of Ron Isley have affected the loyalties of some fans who view his actions as a betrayal of trust. A broader glance at fan commentary reveals a landscape of varied perspectives. Many seem to separate the artist from the art, recognizing the indelible mark of the Isley brothers on music history while expressing disappointment in Ron's personal choices. Others feel that an artist's personal life is integral to their public image and transgressions cannot be ignored. It's evident that the conversation surrounding Ron Isley is as multifaceted as his career. Some choose to remember the velvet voice, while others focus on the headlines. But one thing is clear. The legacy of the Isley brothers, with its dizzying highs and deep lows, will continue to resonate and elicit impassioned reactions for years to come. Diving deep into the mesmerizing world of Ron Isley and the iconic Isley brothers, we've unraveled tales of triumphs and trials. Now, we turn the mic to you. Can you separate the artist's personal missteps from the timeless tunes? Does Ron's journey influence your connection to the music? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Every legend has its complexities. Where does your spotlight shine? Until our next musical journey, stay tuned and keep the beats alive. Farewell, music lovers.